Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everyone's favorite, TikTok. And of course, check us out on Reddit. Join some of our conversations there. And one last thing, don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Smooth. Let's get into it. Bomber season started already. I don't know if you saw that post online with Uncle Shay Shannon Sharp drinking his drink. Woo, woo. Bomber season. It was so awesome to see them, even though it was online. I might say something about online coverage, but let's talk about the game. They just squeaked by the Elks in Edmonton, losing at home again. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on the team? Good, bad? What did you observe?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start for sure. The starting offense, starting defense started the game, and they were up, pretty good lead, I believe, at halftime. I can't remember when it was 17-4 or was it 17-7?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So your starting offense is leading the game by quite a bit, and then your backups come in, and then the game gets a little bit closer. But in the end, they pulled it out. For me, I right off the bat, I like the Claros to Kenny Lawler. The connection for the long touchdown. It's like those two haven't missed a beat. And they're getting back on the same page fairly quickly. So that's always great to see.
67 yards on a bomb just to say, hey, we're back. That was a good sign. Definitely, I agree with that. I think that, the kicking game is, it's rounding into form. The pitcher's getting clearer, although it was probably clear from day one that it was going to be Castillo and Leggio. What's that kid? Stanton hit a field goal, hit his converts. Dude has a leg on him. So good for him that he got something on tape that the other teams can see. He's Canadian, so he probably does have a future in the league, but I don't think it'll be with the Bombers. They have a couple good punters, but I think Leggio has that as well. So the good for me is that it's coming to, the pitcher's getting clearer in regards to the kicking game.
Yeah, one of those guys, though, I forgot to write down which one was, his kickoffs were pretty good in this game. Way better than Leggio's were even in last year. Where Leggio had the leg up and punts for sure. His kickoffs weren't as good, and this guy's was actually pretty good. It ended up it would sit at one of the top averages, over a course of the season if he held it together, kind of thing, right? But of course, it's one game. Never know what happens, but kind of makes it tougher if you look at that. If the guy could punt, but I think you got to stick with that Leggio experience.
You do, and just in case Castillo gets injured, at least you have Leggio who can kick and has been through the pressure. Who knows if he'll get better in it, but. We'll see. Any concerns? My concern is still the same one that we talked about earlier about the defensive line. There's skill there. That's not the primary concern. The depth isn't there. They've lost Richardson. Now they lost Sales. We'll see how Ricky Walker can do, filling in that American defensive tackle spot. But yeah, the depth is concerning for me. There's talent, but they just got to step up.
Sean Lemon, right?
We'll see. That's what I wanted to see that last week, and that's what Doug Brown said after the game.
And someone else mentioned it today too. Someone from Third Down Nation, I think, as well, was kind of in the article as well. So it's kind of steamrolling for a bit. And I'm going to build off that D-line thing. And the Bombers' rushing defense was not very good against Edmonton, and it struggled last year. I know it's preseason, so we're kind of you're looking at everything here. They were without Jeff Coat, they were all Big Hill, Kyrie Wilson, all that. So I get that, but considering it wasn't great last year and it came into this game and gave up 168 yards, I believe, that concerns me as well, along with that backup depth on the D-line.
Yeah, Brooks and Brown ran for 127 on 17 carries. That is horrible. Yeah. And it's not a new thing. They did not look good against Calgary against the run, especially last year. They were susceptible. That's a hard word. Up the middle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we'll see. And, what's his name that could possibly be replacing Jake Thomas? Is it Cam Lawson? He came in last year. They traded for him. He's a high motor guy, so he'll probably get more opportunities to play if he can step up as a national player and fill a role. That'd be great too. Jefferson is there. Jeff Coates there, hopefully healthy.
Yeah, that's a big question coming in right now, right? He hasn't really practiced too much in training camp either, so. Yeah, it's concerning because you need that guy on that other side to open things up for Willie, because then otherwise Willie's getting double teamed and it makes things tougher for him. So that's where Sean Lemon would come in handy.
The good thing about a benefit of Jeffcoat maybe, sitting back, not taking as many reps as you're getting to see this Aaron Sterling that they signed in the offseason from South Carolina. I think he got to the quarterback one time against Edmonton, but the guy's an athletic freak. He has like a 4.6 40, 28-inch vertical, can bench press 225 like almost 20 times. So that's an athletic kid. And as the more reps he gets, hopefully the more he can be in the rotation, because I think he's going to stick on the team. He's not going anywhere unless he got cut today. I don't know.
I don't think they're cutting anyone until after the second game, really. I mean, they're major cuts anyways. That's true. That's a good thing. And Jeffcoat maybe just like, I mean, the guy's been doing it for so long. He doesn't need a preseason game to get into shape or do it. Some guys may want to do that and play it, but Jeffcoat maybe like, let's just rest up the body and save it all for the regular season.
So this is good that this is a concern of mine. Like this possibly could be a very good defensive line. It's just like a couple guys got to step up and prove themselves, not to me, just to be on a good defense with the Bombers. So it's encouraging that what we just talked about, but it's still a concern of mine, especially if an injury happens to either Jefferson or Jeff.
Knock on wood on that one.
There we go. Yeah, we knock on it hard, yo. Okay. An encouraging thing that we saw was Pigram play quarterback on short yardage. Competition for that QB3 position. Is it too early to crown him? Have you crowned him? Thoughts on his performance? And go ahead.
Probably a little bit too early to crown him because we didn't get to see what Josh Jones could really do. He only had four series or only 4 plays. I can't remember which one it was. But I am severely loving this guy already so far. Just with that skill set, the third down guy. You got your short yardage stuff, right? He can dive. He showed he could do that in that game. But now you got the fake aspect, right? Even on a second down and short, you can run that guy outside, and he showed it on that touchdown run. It was crazy, the speed. Edmonton could not even keep up with him on that play, right? Yeah. So it excites me because there's so many different things that you can do with this guy. Plus throwing a couple throws in there. He had some nice throws in that game as well. So to Jeremy Murphy, another wide receiver, rookie wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I'm
excited.
remember
last year they're playing Montreal. And it was short yardage. Prukop was in there, and they did like a fake, and then they kind of went long. And the DB didn't bite on it. They stayed in the coverage, and it didn't quite work. I think it would work with this guy because you got to respect him coming off the line. Yeah. I bought it in, by the way. I have no problem putting the crown on him as a QB3. He reminds me of Strevler, just the athleticism. When that guy's, he's not as big, obviously, but when he's on the move, he's on the move. Like he hit that line full speed and passed everybody on the way to the end zone for that 47-yarder. Yeah. And like you said, he's proven that he has an arm. We'll see what he does in the second game because I'm sure they're going to give him maybe a quarter of play. Yeah, I would expect quarter.
Drew Brown gets a bunch, and then it's off to Pigram and Josh Jones after that. So
yeah.
When speaking of Drew Brown, I'd like to see a little bit more of Drew Brown in that second game that we saw in this first game as well, just to make sure he's that guy, that second guy, right? So
yeah. Do you think that we talked last week and you mentioned that Collaros is awesome, MVP quarterback, but there were some inconsistencies in his game. Do you think him playing in this first preseason is a part of that? Because last year he didn't play preseason at all. He wanted to feel the rhythm. There's a lot of new pieces. Maybe that's why he played and a little more than we thought he would.
Yeah, it probably is a factor into it for sure. Because then you get on the same page a little bit with live bullets, with Lawler, Dembski, all those guys, and maybe you get that rhythm a little bit earlier in the season, right? Yeah. And he did play with different guys at different positions, so you get used to different guys. If some guys are getting hurt, it's football, 18-game season. Guys are going to get hurt. You're going to have to insert different guys, so you get used to some of their tendencies as well. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't expect them to probably play in the second game at all, but
no.
Because then again, they play a week later. The home opener is a week later after that game, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Man, Kenny Lawler got wide open, and Dalton Schoen was at home. Once that whole cruise, it's going to be ridiculous.
Can't wait for the 9th, man.
Let's talk about defense. We talked last week, previewed the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense. Let's preview their defense. Man, I can't talk right now. Defensive line. We just talked a bit about defensive line. A bit of not an issue, just a concern about depth. There is age, there is injury concern. And like Doug Brown said, maybe you gotta go and get some lemonade some insurance, and also a good rotation player. So thoughts on the D-line, in addition to what we already talked about?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have your main guys, Willie Jefferson, Jeffcoat, right, on your ends. Jake Thomas, probably the other guy there. I'm interested to see, is it going to be Ricky Walker as that fourth guy? Is Cam Lawson going to get more of a play on that line as well? And then you got the rookie Bennett. How's he going to fit in there as well into that D-line? But yeah, it's thin, right? And I think through a long season, 18 games, you want to give Jefferson and Jeffco breaks here and there, and not injury breaks, right? You don't want them to be out on injury, but you want to give them breaks in a game where they can come out, and you can throw in a guy like Lemon, or if there's a guy that's, sparks in training camp that can kind of offset these guys a little bit. That would be great to have.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Cam Lawson in there more. I like seeing a good Canadian on the line. He's not going to be a Doug Brown, as one and only, but I said Doug Brown a lot in this episode. But yeah, I love to see that Canadian step up. And like I said, I'm just repeating myself. It's a concern. Depth is a bit of a concern, but I think the talent is there. Just no injuries. None. And I think we're in good shape there. How about linebackers? The consistency's there. Adam Bighill's got the middle. His 5th year in Winnipeg. No signs of him last year, I don't think, slowing down. I don't think the defense was as dynamic as it was a couple years ago, but he's been Defensive Player of the Year 2018 and 2020.
Yeah.
If I'm
21, right? Yeah.
I always forget which one's canceled. It doesn't matter. That was a horrible year. But he's worth, I think, a second to none. So, he'll be in football shape because he was still the busiest guy, I think, play-wise on the defense last year. So the middle's taken care of.
Yeah, I can't disagree there. And again, he's done this so long, there's no point in giving more wear and tear on him, on his body, playing preseason games or even training camp. Like, he knows what he's got to do when he's out there, right? And he'll be ready to go once June 9th hits and that home opener happens. So, to me, I guess Kyrie Wilson, is he going to be healthy and he's going to be back? Because he'll fill in a great spot on that linebacker crew as well, right? So we missed him last year with that early injury, ACL, right? Or no, Achilles. Yeah. So missed his great play last year and his leadership on that line as well. Because to me, again, that was a run game as well, where it suffered. You had Big Hill and then you had different guys in there, right? Malik Clements, Darby ended up playing linebacker in the Grey Cup, right? So you had different guys in there. It missed a little bit of that Kyrie Wilson feel. So happy and excited to see him back.
Hopefully he can get back into form. I think he's still on the 6-game injured list.
Oh, is he still? Okay.
I don't know what it means going forward. Yeah. Maybe it's just, a roster contractual messing around, needing to cut people just in case kind of move. I do like the play of this Brian Cole. He played well in Edmonton. I think he had 5 or 6 tackles. I think they'd be steady with him. I'm for some reason confident in his play for now. I'm sure he'll get lots of time next game. And, if Big Hill does get hurt, knock on wood again, Shane Gauthier played really good last year. In some action in the middle. So there's depth in the linebacking core.
Is Cole new to the CFL or was he around? Okay. New?
I think he has been around. I was looking at his player profile earlier today, but I didn't write it specifically where he has played.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on it on Friday's game.
And Malik Clements is still in the crew too.
Yeah, he started this last game too, right? And just another year of experience for him.
I like that. Thoughts on the secondary?
I mean, free safety, you got Brandon Alexander, obviously, right? And then again, depth behind him. Is Noah Hallett still there as well? Yeah, so so you got a little bit of depth there, and hopefully Alexander. He came back. He did not bad last year coming back off of the injury. So another year, few games in training camp under his belt. I think it'll be even better, and hopefully he's back to where he was 2 years ago.
Yeah. I love watching. He's probably arguably the best safety at covering territory in the league. Yeah, I think he's second to none. And I'm really excited to see Dietrich Nichols. He's prime time north. I'd put him on an island against any good receiver in the CFL. He is locked down at playing that halfback. So I'm looking forward to him stepping up. I'm not worried about the secondary. It's a lot of experience coming back. You got guys like Winston Rose is also coming back at the corners, and it'd be great if Terrell Ford came back. I'd love to see him make the Packers, but just saying.
That won't be for a while, even if he does, right? But again, you got guys, a lot of experience last year with the injuries, right? Demario Houston was having a great season last year, got hurt. He's back. So
Yeah.
you had Jamal Parker fill in here and there for injuries, got some experience. So yeah, and then Holm and then Darby as well. So you got a pretty good crew here, and you got some guys that could fill in for injury, or even give guys a break here and there. I was reading something today. Well, Winston Rose has been hurt, and it was almost questioning if he would end up making the team afterwards with all these guys stepping up. Plus, what's his name, Lawrence from Hamilton last year that they got at the end of the season. So they got a pretty solid crew back there. And last year got felled by injury. So hopefully this year's better.
Shout out to like Ted Govea, Danny McManus, Richie Hall, and what's his secondary coach? Jordan Younger. He was awesome when he played for the Argos. But which way, like they just find DBs, and these coaches mold them into great DBs. So early shout out to them. We've been talking about injuries a lot. Let's talk about Chad Kelly being injured. Coach Dinwiddie said no big deal. If it was regular season, he'd play through it. Concerns, thoughts from you?
My only concern is if he was injured any longer, is that they don't really have anyone behind him, right? They have a bunch of guys really with no experience at all that would have to fill in for him. But to me right now, this arm soreness or tightness in the throwing elbow, whatever it was during warm-up, that's not too concerning from the sounds of it. Even today, Dinwiddie said he's fine. He could play through it. So to me, I have no issue there. Curly Gurton's getting hurt actually gives me more concern than Chad Kelly right now. But yeah, I think he's got time, Chad Kelly. He got another exhibition game, plus he get the bye in week 1. So he's got a few weeks to get healthy. The only thing is he loses out on reps, right? Which he needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, he hasn't played much, but.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't know. A throwing elbow is a concern. I think at any level that you have to take the game off, not even to take a snap or anything. Yeah, you can downplay it, and maybe it is, but either you lose reps or you play through it and you never let it heal fully, and you continue playing the season until it, wears itself down into a major injury.
Yeah.
And I want to see that, all last year I wanted the Chad Kelly package. I want to see this guy shine, except for when they play the Bombers. Exactly. There's going to be Chad Kelly package all in my face this year. But, I don't want to see him play good against the Bombers. But he's a young QB that I'm excited to see play. So I'm a conservative when it comes to that, with injuries on the throwing arm of a quarterback. Don't want to progress. And you know how he is. He's a bravado kind of guy. So.
Well, and like you said, there's no viable option really right now behind him. So if he's hurt, Toronto's in trouble early in this season already, right?
And the thing is, the early disappointment for him might get him a little cranky. And when he gets cranky, bad things happen. Like he leaves universities. Or he's kicked out. Whatever
he will be interesting to see. Obviously if the injury lingers or if things start off bad for him, what kind of attitude he takes or where it goes, kind of thing. It'll be a fun watch this season for sure.
Yeah, there was an interesting article on CBS about McLeod Bethel Thompson and him doing well in the USFL and la. And I think a quote, not going to quote him specifically, paraphrasing, but he's like, I could have stayed in the CFL for another 6 years and, had a Hall of Fame career. Oh, my goodness. I was like, okay, buddy. All right, buddy. You didn't finish that Grey Cup game, but you're going to Hall of Fame if you had there another 6 years. Say, okay.
You definitely would have the stats for it. I mean, the interceptions and whatever would be up there as well. But oh well, he was getting better. Maybe next year he would have taken it to the next level.
Assuming that he had kept the same pace that he did with all the yards last year. Yeah. All right. He puts that jacket on him, like what's his name, Chad Johnson. Put that jacket on. Ambrosie. Before we move on. Kind of encouraging to hear him talk about having more swagger in promotions. Read this Third Down Nation article about that. Thoughts about more swagger?
I'm just trying to figure out what does that even mean, more swagger in marketing and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I like it. I guess I want to see more marketing. I feel like the CFL since Ambrosie started in 27 have kind of dropped the ball a little bit, and they've been slow on marketing. Like the global initiative has been there for a while, but it hasn't really made a lot of grounds. And now that you got the XFL and USFL coming, and probably actually both lasting maybe a second season here, I think they should have got this started earlier and built up a little bit more and been in a position of power right now, instead of kind of just going, okay, let's get this thing going. So
like, I admire his passion for marketing, but like you said, like, where was this 3 years ago?
yeah,
Like, I don't understand this league constantly being 1, 2, 12 steps behind other
yeah.
sports leagues when it comes to marketing. We asked on Twitter, since our balls are bigger / radically Canadian campaign in the early 90s to mid 90s, when was the last time the league has been aggressive in marketing the league?
Nothing I can think of in the last few years.
Like, come on.
Or even more, man.
And the thing is, he's hung up on the quality of the game. I'm going to quote him. I think we saw some real positive signs from those rule changes that they'll enhance the game. Less twos and outs, more long drives, more big plays. The side receiver now is much bigger part of the game. We've got work to do, but we have a great product. We've had a great product for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
You just got to push it. You got to market it for what it is. Like, now you're discovering fast and exciting. That's brand new to you.
Yeah, that's been the CFL. I mean, it's always been higher scoring for the most part than NFL was. I mean, NFL has gotten better over the last 5-10 years in scoring wise, maybe more 5, but
yeah,
to make it more exciting. But the CFL was already there. They were putting up points. They were getting first downs with only 2 downs needed, right? And moving that ball. And sometimes there's just more bombs down the field, which excites the crowd. So yeah,
absolutely.
Changing the rules is not doing it. You need to attract a young crowd, like we've talked about this many times. And build from that, which they haven't done enough of in the last 5 years.
Like, all these rule changes, like, look at the NFL. All their rule changes are trying to mimic the openness of the CFL game. Mm-hmm. More passing. You know what? We have a bigger field, so we don't have these big guys colliding into each other. But that's what they do now. Don't hit the receiver.
Yeah.
So they can catch the ball and make a play. That we've been doing that in the CFL for forever, since Jack Jacobs was passing forward. Like. And that's another thing, Jack Jacobs, they are neglecting the history of the game. And when you neglect the history of a game, you sound like every other upstart league. You sound like the USFL. You sound like the XFL with no tradition. What's the draw there?
Jeez. When does Uncle Randy need to go? Do we see where this goes and give one? I mean, they've done some decent stuff, this new broadcast deal in the States. I don't know what it's actually paying them. Yeah, but hopefully that builds off the streaming service now that they implemented this year for preseason games. Are they doing that for the regular season as well? Like, is it sticking around, or is it?
It has all on be all on TV, because the streaming service was horrible.
Oh, was it bad? Oh, okay.
For a league like this to stream so poor quality and to not even have advertisements going on in it, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, blah blah blah, just do something about it. Come on, they got to get rid of the board and everything. They don't know what's going on there. It's an old boys club, I bet you. It's horrible.
Yeah, it might be time after the season if nothing really moves on any of this marketing ground.
Like, you have Victor Cui, who's running the Eskies. Their online presence is great now. Consult him. He was in Asia in MMA. He might have some new ideas, maybe.
Yeah, you got some new owners, even in BC there, right? You got to use these guys and get some fresh ideas.
Yeah, I love the CFL, but this is ridiculous. Like, now we need to be aggressive in marketing. Get out of here, man. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
What a clown show. Let's move on. Fans, put your thoughts on Randy Ambrosie, the Bombers, the upcoming season in the comments. Leave a like. Tell us what you think. Let's move on to some NHL hockey. Let's check in with the East first. Does this long break benefit the Florida Panthers?
I don't think so. Not at least in the first game for sure. Maybe not in the first couple. They were in rhythm, right? Bobrovsky was in rhythm. That whole team was going and things were working out and following their ways. I don't like this long break. I don't even know when the playoffs or the Stanley Cup's actually going to start now. Is it still going to be next week or is it going to be this weekend? So that's still even a few more days off. So I don't like it for them. But the team that they've been so far in this postseason, they've been resilient. So even if it affects them game 1, game 2, they'll be bouncing back.
I do like it for them. I think they'll be fine. Like, they already had like 5-6 days off between the Toronto and Carolina series. So I think they'll watch those two teams beat up on each other. Wow, what's going on there right now? Anyway,
it's all over. Dallas went down in flames 6-0 tonight to Vegas. So
we got Vegas, who's played some good physical series. Well, yeah, that's their style. But that's their style.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe, Florida to play that forecheck that they like to play and that makes them good. I think the rest benefits them.
Yeah,
It's a long break, but
yeah, it's a long one for sure. Hopefully, I mean, for them that the Stanley Cup starts sooner than later and not another whole week in between. I guess today's Monday, right? So I would expect it to start by the weekend or even before that. So
it's like this is actually probably where Mo earns his money as a coach. How sharp can you keep this team going on this break mentally and physically?
Yeah, and he's got to get his revenge back on Vegas for that series against the Jets there in 2017-18, right?
That was crazy. That was crazy. So, with Vegas moving on to go against your boy Pomo and the Florida Panthers, who are you taking as an early Stanley Cup prediction? Imagine. So there's no way Dallas is coming back, right?
No, it's over. 6-0 final.
All the zeros are there?
Everything's there. Final. It says final.
Just making sure, because that would suck. If some weird comeback happened and we look like asses when I release this. Early Stanley Cup prediction. Who are you taking?
Man, as a Jets fan, this is kind of tough, right? You got Vegas. I mean, a lot of people still love Pomo and everything that he's done. So, you know what? In the interest of Florida fans, I picked against Florida in every series they've been in. So I'm going to pick against them again, just to try and help you guys out. So I'm going to go with Vegas to win this series. I just feel like they may be a more all-around better team. I know Florida has faced teams that are all supposed to be all better than them, but Vegas to me has been resilient for the most part in this playoffs. Even dropping 2 against Dallas, they were still in those games, and I felt like they just showed their class tonight by pounding them 6-0. So I'm going to go with Vegas. I do expect this to be a long series, and good luck to Florida and good luck to Pomo.
I'm going for Florida. I'm going on Pomo. I'm on that Pomo train. I think they're going to take it. I think, the styles matchup is going to be a grinder of a series.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close series. I don't know how many games, probably 6. Because 5, when I picked 5 games across the board last time, that didn't work out for me.
Not at all.
So I'll go 6 games. And I think the difference has to be the goaltending. When the two teams match up like that physically, and when it's goaltending, I have to go with Bobrovsky. I went against him in the first round and I didn't do it again. So I can't go against him again. So I'll take the Florida Panthers and Pomo to bring the cup and for him to raise the cup.
Bobrovsky's been a wall though, eh? Like if he obviously he needs to continue his play for Florida to have a good chance in this series. They need to help him a little bit in this series. One thing Vegas has is guys that can score on any of those lines, right? So they're very good with spreading the wealth around in goals. So that defense for Florida is going to have to help Bobrovsky out and not let him face 30 to 40 shots a game again. But yeah, man, what a stellar playoff run it's been for that guy. He didn't even start in the playoffs, right? And then once he was inserted, he's never looked back, and he's been thorn in his side. Rado Gudis, or what is it? Gudis needs to be a thorn in everyone's side for Vegas. Pound those guys. Keith Tkachuk needs to keep rolling for Florida to have a good chance in this series. So it'll be fun.
Keith Tkachuk is retired, bro. Keith Tkachuk is playing no more. Here we go. But the good thing is there's something to be said about playing less games this deep in the playoffs. It'll be good. It'll be good. A little bit of NFL talk here. LeVeon Bell admits to smoking that weed before games. Thoughts?
I don't necessarily like it. I don't know how it's affecting him before the game, if it's making him worse, if it's making him better, if he's all in tune in the game or not. I mean, as fans, you're paying a high-end dollar to go see these games. I would want to see these players at their best. I do rather have them using marijuana and all that stuff for pain tolerance and all that stuff than what the crap they're using now, though. So I will say that, but necessarily smoking before a game, not totally in agreement with that at all.
I think you know what my answer is. I don't give a damn. Good for you, boy. The rules against smoking weed are stupid. It's like there's the test. You're allowed 150 nanograms in your system, which means you're allowed to have smoked weed last week, but not the day before. So it's nonsensical. Yeah, you're thinking about it hard because it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense.
To me, wouldn't he have been tested at all within a game or two of all this stuff? So there's no way he could have smoked every game. He never got suspended for anything like that, did he?
I'm sure he did. With LeGarrette Blount. Didn't they get suspended for smoking weed?
Maybe. Well, there was something. Was it that?
I think so. I think they smoked that weed.
Maybe he stopped when he went to the Jets, and that's why he wasn't as good.
Yeah, it's because he went on the Steelers.
Or
What a
maybe it was the
guy,
other way
eh?
around. He started when he was with the Jets and he got worse.
Yeah, I'm just gonna what a I've jumped on him enough in episodes like 1 and 2 back in the day. So good for you. Good to smoke weed, Le'Veon Bell, but that's a shame. Best landing spot for DeAndre Hopkins. I'm gonna say the Detroit Lions. They got the cap space. They're playoff ready. I think they can take the NFC Norris Central. Who used to say that? Not Boomer Size. What's his name? Boomer, whatever. Don't matter. And they have cap room. I think that'd be a great place for him to go.
Yeah. Yeah, the NFC North is wide open, right? I mean, really, I can only see them and maybe the Vikings battling for it. Packers, I expect them to be down, and who knows with Chicago. But to me, it depends. What does he want? Does he want money or does he want to win? If he wants to win, I'd probably say the Bills is probably the best spot for him to go. Pair up with Stephon Diggs. That opens things up for Diggs a little bit more, and it also opens things up for Hopkins because he's got a great receiver on that other side and Diggs that they have to focus on. So if he can stay healthy, wants a little bit less cash, go to Buffalo.
Yeah, he has to take a lot less cash.
Yeah. Oh,
what's
yeah.
it?
But he's made enough. Do you
what
need
did
more?
What is Odell Beckham making on a low contract? 15 million?
15, I think it was, right?
So that's kind of the range we're looking at. He'll probably have to take what, 5 million less than that to get under the cap.
Depends what he's still getting paid in Arizona after getting cut here or not, but yeah.
I think he's getting paid lots.
Yeah, so he's okay on the money front, right? At this point.
Dang. So. You got a brickhead?
Yeah, it's a little bit late because this obviously happened, last week or whatever. But I'm going to give it to Jamie Benn. He's my brickhead of the week for his cross check to the head of Mark Stone, where he ended up getting suspended for 2 games. Not only was the play dangerous, it could have caused a lot of damage. He put his team in a terrible position. Luckily, they managed to win 2 games without him. I almost would have not put him back in the lineup tonight. You were rolling with 2 games, 2 wins, and now you put him in tonight and he lost. So. Too bad. Jimmy Ben, you're my brickhead of the week.
The hockey gods are funny like that, eh?
Exactly.
They are funny like that. Shout out. I got a shout out to the Winnipeg Sea Bears on a record crowd and the win in their CEBL debut at Canada Life Center. I really like the play of EJ Anosike. 21 points, 11 boards. I'm going to be following him. I've always been a fan of power forwards. If y'all don't know, Charles Barkley is my dude. And also, I'm going to keep an eye on the Winnipeggers. Chad Posthumous hit the winning shot actually in the. I can't forget the system of the ending. There's a specific name.
Elam ending, was it?
Thank you. The Elam ending. Check out how the Elam ending works. We don't got time, but he hit the winning shot. Grad of River East and also from Winnipeg, Simon Hildebrand. MBCI grad, U of M Bison. Shout out to them. You got a shout out?
Yeah, and then plus they had 7,300 fans at the game, which set the record for the most attendance. Yeah, I'm going to give it out to the Canada men's hockey team, the World Championships in Latvia, in Germany, winning the World Championships over Germany, actually. And then shout out to the 2 Winnipeggers on there, Cody Glass and Joel Hofer.
Didn't Latvia just win also a hockey championship recently?
No, well, they ended up 3rd in this. They got a bronze.
And they had like a crazy parade? Is that what happened there?
Yeah, I think they all got the day off today in Latvia too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for them. Who said the same thing. Benny, you got anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and leave us a rating. Have a good week.
And in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.